Right. Hello students, let's continue our lecture with our new topic, flux of an electric field through a surface. Right, we are continuing the electrostatic lectures, right. Today we will discuss about Gauss law, and in that, before moving on to the Gauss law, we need to understand flux of an electric field through a surface. First of all, what is meant by flux? What is meant by flux we need to understand. Right, let's see now. First, for example, if I have taken south pole and north pole here of any magnet, general magnet we know, right. This one will be exhibiting the magnetic field around this one, right. Magnetic field around this one, and these lines will be passing through any planar surface. These lines will be passing through any planar surface you consider. Okay, the number of lines which are going into this surface, okay, which is see A, B, C and D. All these lines are nothing but called as magnetic flux. Okay, flux means number of lines of force. Okay, lines of force, simply we can say that as lines of force, that is whether that may be a magnetic flux or else it may be a electric flux, but in this chapter we will deal with electric flux. Even a magnet also can exhibit flux. Alright, and now you just understood what is meant by flux. Flux of an electric field through a surface. Okay, alright. Now let's consider a surface, any arbitrary surface like this. Okay, I am considering a point here. Okay, I am considering here a point, central point also we can consider, and a line I am drawing perpendicular to the plane of this surface. It means, for example, if you take any book or any plane in this manner, if you keep any line exactly perpendicular to that one, that is the thing we have given on the board. This is like this. And now some electric field E bar is making an angle theta. Electric field E bar is making an angle theta with the perpendicular of this surface. This is an imaginary surface, and that one has one normal. We can say this as a positive normal. Positive normal. Negative normal will be there. Yes, if you go down in this manner, that one can be considered as a negative normal. Okay. Depending on the size, depending on the shape of the surface, positive normal and negative normal will be shown. Actually, positive normal will be upwards, negative normal will be downwards. Coordinate system simply. Okay, electric field E bar is making an angle theta here. It means electric field lines are going along this surface perpendicular to parallel to this E bar, right. These are all lines of force which are passing through this electric field, which are passing through this surface. You can consider this surface as S, and if you consider any small region in that small region will be considered as delta S. Okay, like this we have considered, right. And now flux phi means if you consider here a small surface delta S, okay, and the number of lines of force which are going, that flux can be represented by this phi symbol, can be considered as delta phi. Okay, can be considered as delta phi, and this delta phi is equals to, we can write as E bar dot delta S. E or else you can say E delta S cos of angle between them. Cos of angle between them means that perpendicular, with the perpendicular how much angle it is making is important for us. Okay, here actually delta S is an area, means this is an area. Okay, this is an area and this is also area. In that area we have taken a small one, delta S. Delta phi is equals to E dot delta S into cos theta. This is the equation given from this okay, flux of an electric field through a surface. Flux of an electric field through a surface is given by this equation, and now we can just simplify this equation that delta phi is equals to E bar dot ds also. If you consider ds or delta s, we can say delta s. First we will take delta s. Now d phi is equals to, in the form of integration we are taking here d phi and delta phi. Delta phi means change in the flux, change in the surface area. Delta phi, d phi means very small, ds means very small. Here also very small area and very small change flux to that particular area. This one, if you do integration on both sides, we are going to get integral E bar dot ds, integral E bar dot ds bar we will get in this manner. And here we are going to represent a circular symbol on this integration, because this circular symbol represents the enclosed surface, means a closed surface like a sphere, cylinder, not hollow cylinder. Okay, it means a hollow cylinder and also two planar circles covering the edges of the cylinder, means two ends of the cylinder is closed. In that situation, means all closed figures we are considering particularly, then we will consider this integration symbol with a circular symbol. We can say that one as integral. This is an integration. Okay, like this we can say phi is equals to integral E bar dot ds bar. This is nothing but flux of an electric field through a surface. Okay, all right. And now let's consider one problem based on this one. Let's take a square of side A. A square of side A I am considering, and its normal is like this. An electric field is going in this manner to this, making an angle. We can consider 45 degrees. Let's consider making an angle 45 degrees. Now we have to find flux passing through this square area. Okay, that one we need to find. Fine. Then how can we find that? We know already the formula. Phi is equals to integral EDS, or else this formula also we can consider. Right, that is electric flux phi is equals to integral E bar dot ds bar. And here E bar is a constant term in this present case. That's why we can bring out E bar outside. Integral ds bar, as this is a closed surface. Right now, integral E bar and ds bar is there here. Here, okay, first of all we need to okay, right, see, phi is equals to integral E bar dot ds we have taken here, and now phi is equals to integral E ds cos 45 degrees, whatever the angle is given, that one we have substituted. Next, phi is equals to E is a common thing, and cos 45 is also a constant. E and cos 45 are constant, we can bring them out. Cos 45 is 1 by root 2, that is E by root 2 into s. Integral ds is s only, right? That is phi is equals to E by root 2 into s means surface area, this area, that is a square, simply that is E square by root 2. Flux phi is equals to E square by root 2 we can consider simply. That's it. This is nothing but flux of an electric field through a surface. Fine. Now let's start another topic, solid angle. Solid angle. This is a general mathematical concept, but it is very much helpful for us to solve so many Gauss law related problems. Solid angle we must know and we must understood well. Okay, solid angle is represented by the symbol omega. Okay, and it can be the units, it means it can be measured in the form measured by using steradians. It can be measured in steradians. Okay, first of all, what is meant by a solid angle? Let's consider a plane, means this board itself a plane we have considered like this, and here I am considering two lines which are of equal length. Consider R and R. Okay, and if these two are making like this an arc, okay, this one is making an angle theta. This one we know it's a sector. It's a sector, and this is arc of length L, and theta is equals to, or else we know L is equals to R into theta. Then theta is equals to L by R will come. Theta equals to L by R. In the same manner, if you consider in three dimension like this, here we are going to observe in 3D view a cone like structure. Here we are going to observe a cone like structure. Okay, it means if you take any ball and if you cut it exactly from the center in such a way that it is going to make a cone like structural shape like this. This angle will be called as omega. This angle is normal angle theta, and this angle is omega. Okay, in the same manner here also radius will be R only. Okay, but the relation how we are going to give this one is, this is a surface. Here you are able to observe a surface, not line or arc. Okay, this is a line, but this is a surface having some surface area. Yes, we don't know that exact surface area. Let's consider that is yes. Okay, in the same manner here L equals to R theta, no? Then S is equals to radius into omega. Radius. Okay, directly we cannot take here radius. This is a one dimension, that way only R we have taken, but here R square we need to consider. R square. Omega is equals to S by R square. Okay, if you take this is a two dimension one, and this length also should be that one also has to be taken in 2 dimension, like that, just for remembering purpose I am saying. Okay, and this is simply called as a solid angle. Okay, this is nothing but called a solid angle. And let's understand this one still more simpler, and what is equals to phi, and what is the maximum possible angle for theta. See, for maximum possible angle for theta will be is equals to 2 pi. It lies in between. Simply minimum is 0 and maximum is 2 pi, means a complete circle, or else nothing, 0. Here it will form a complete sphere. It will form a complete sphere. It will form a complete circle. Here phi is equals to no, not phi. Omega is equals to 4 pi. Here theta is equals to 2 pi, and that one it will come as 4 pi simply. Just remember this one, and now we will prove that also. Right. Now see, if you consider this is a sector whose radius is R, length is L, angle is theta, then theta is equals to L by R we know. For example, this theta is maximum one. If you consider that theta is maximum, means a perfect circle, complete circle, then length will be is equals to perimeter 2 pi R, right? R and R gets cancelled. That is theta is equals to 2 pi. That's it. It means we have proved that for a complete circle theta is equals to 2 pi. For a complete circle length is equal to 2 pi R. Then R and R gets cancelled. What is remaining? 2 pi. In the same likewise, now we will consider the solid angle. in this manner. This is a surface, okay. This is a surface, and this is a solid angle omega. Just now we have found omega is equals to S by R square. See, for a complete surface of a sphere, the surface area of a sphere is what? 4 pi R square divided by R square. R square gets cancelled. What is remaining? 4 pi. It means omega is equals to 4 pi. Means maximum possible angle is 4 pi. Means maximum possible solid angle is 4 pi. Maximum possible two-dimensional angle is nothing but 2 pi. Normal angle is 2 pi. That's it. Okay, right. And now, what about finding solid angle for different applications, or we can say for different examples? It means nothing but, for example, I will take a surface like this here. Okay. Let's consider here any arbitrary surface, or else you take this hand itself as a surface. Okay. From here to this point P. At this point P, my hand, what is the solid angle it is making? Okay, such question is there. Then how can we find? For that is, let's take this is some particular arbitrary surface. From these edges, let's join like this, and this is nothing but steradian angle omega. This is nothing but steradian angle omega. Okay, but these two lengths are not same. These two lengths are not same. We have to consider, for example, if this is a radius r, if you consider this is a radius r, and the same length only we have to consider here also, like this. This is radius r. It means here we are going to divide one component of this. Okay, here we are going to divide one component of this one. See, from this center, you will draw a line like this. This line is exactly perpendicular to this dotted area. Exactly perpendicular to this dotted area, but not this one. It is making some arbitrary angle. Okay. Here it is making some arbitrary, some other angle. And if you consider here the perpendicular of this one, like this, and the angle it is making to this is alpha, if you consider like this. And next, this one's component is this here, this area's component is this. If you consider this is delta S area, means here solid surface area we have to consider, not a planar one. For example, if I consider here my hand is appearing like a plane, but actually you have to consider like a spherical surface area which is covering there. Okay, not the planar one. Okay, like that we have to consider, like a spherical surfaced one we have to consider. Any plane you consider, whatever the plane you have to change that one in the form of a circular spherical surface area. Okay, in any form you can cut it, but it should be like it should form like you are cutting a ball in a particular shape of your that particular sphere as the base of your hand like structure or whatever. Okay, that's it. It means if you take a ball and you cut it, you cut the base. Okay, and you just turn it upside down and you see that base shape. That base shape should be like your hand shape, and the remaining surface outside it will be there, no? That one is called as our original surface, delta S or S, whatever we take there. Okay, and here it is making an angle alpha. That's why this one we will consider as delta S cos alpha. Okay, delta S cos alpha. If you consider this is delta S, or else if you consider this only S, then this is S cos alpha. Then according to the formula, S is equals to S cos alpha by r square. Omega is equals to S cos alpha by r square. Like this we can consider. In this manner we can find solid angle for any type of bodies, okay, at any point, at any particular point. It varies. Okay, right. Now let's discuss the important topic, Gauss law. What is meant by Gauss law? See, the flux of the net electric field through a closed surface equals the net charge enclosed by the surface divided by epsilon naught. Gauss law says simply that whatever the flux which is enclosed in a surface, means for example any closed surface if you take, whatever the flux is passing through that, okay, that is equals to charge by epsilon naught. Charge by epsilon naught. Here epsilon naught represents that surface, and the charge, everything is placed in free space, means vacuum, it is placed in vacuum. That's why we are keeping here epsilon naught. If you keep any medium, we have to find the relative permittivity of that and we have to keep here. Okay, this is the general explanation, general formula based in symbolic form of this definition. That is phi is equals to integral E bar dot ds is equals to Q inside. Q in means it represents charge inside that enclosed surface by epsilon naught. Here phi is equals to integral E ds we have given in the first topic. Flux enclosed in a electric field is given as like this only, no? That one equals to this. That's it. This is nothing but called Gauss law. Now let's solve some of the let's discuss some examples regarding this, then we can understand more clearly. Let's solve one problem on Gauss law. Let's consider a circular ring having charge q, means on its whole perimeter charge q is uniformly distributed. Another circle I am considering which is actually a sphere. Okay, another sphere of same radius. Let's consider same radius. Both are having same radius and they are touching their centers. Their edges are touching their centers. In this manner it is arranged. Okay, it means here we are able to see the formation of the equilateral triangle. This is the radius, this is the radius, this is also radius, this is also radius. Okay, then it is an equilateral triangle. This is 60 degrees and this is 60 degrees. Totally the angle is 120 degrees. If the angle is 120 degrees here, as the total angle is 2 pi, we know that one already, and here this length which is outside, okay, having some charge, okay, the total charge is q, but this length will have the maximum charge, that will be is equals to 2q by 3. The outside one will have 2q by 3 charge and inside will have q by 3 charge, because as here 120 degrees, this length will become L by 3. If you consider L is the total perimeter of the circle, L by 3 will be the enclosed perimeter, means enclosed sector's perimeter, or else perimeter we should not say, arc length of the arc which is enclosed inside this sphere is L by 3. L by 3 will have q by 3 charge. L by 3 will have q by 3 charge. If so, then we need to find what? Phi. Phi is equals to integral E bar dot ds bar, we already know this one, and here E is the electric field and here E is the electric field. We need to find out the flux due to this sector, which is enclosed in the sphere, which is enclosed in this particular sphere. And we know the Gauss formula, integral E ds is equals to q inside by epsilon naught. What is q inside? That is q by 3 into epsilon naught. That's it. Q by 3 epsilon naught is the flux which is enclosed inside the spherical surface due to this ring, okay, due to this ring in placed in this particular manner, right? That's it. Proof of Coulomb's law, proof of Gauss law using Coulomb's law. What is Coulomb's law? F is equals to Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. From this we know electric field E is equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. Fine. Let's consider this is electric field E bar, right? Okay, you will remember this. Now, how we are going to prove Gauss law by using Coulomb's law? Let's see. Let's consider a spherical or any enclosed surface. Here we are keeping a charge Q, and due to this charge Q, there will be electric field E bar outside. Okay, and this surface means exactly on the surface of this enclosed surface, I am considering a small area delta S we are considering, and here a perpendicular normal we are considering. With that perpendicular, that electric field is making an angle theta. Okay, electric field is making an angle theta. We know already from Coulomb's law, electric field E is equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. Electric field is magnitude is equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R square, we know already. Right now, the main important thing is here we need to find, it means we are going to derive from this Q by epsilon naught. Okay, how? Let's see now. Here delta S is there. We know already delta phi is equals to delta S bar dot E bar or E bar dot delta S. Okay, delta phi, if you consider delta phi is equals to delta S and E. What is E? E is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into delta S. Okay, delta S we will consider like this, and the angle between them, as the here product is a dot product, angle between them will be is equals to cos theta. You are considering here the angle is theta, that's why cos theta. This is delta phi, and if you do integration on both sides, we are going to get Q cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into integral delta S, that is equals to Q into cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Integral delta S can be written as S only simply. Integral delta S can be written as S only, or else integration also we can remove directly. We can keep simply here delta, and here also delta S and delta S only. Let's keep it. Okay, here R square is there, R square, delta S by R square, and now delta phi is equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into we will take this one outside, and remaining delta S cos theta by R square is one term, like that we are considering. Why? We will see now. Here delta phi is equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into delta omega we can write. Why? Because see, this one is exactly appearing like delta omega only, no? Delta S cos theta by R square is what? Solid angle. Okay, solid angle. Very small change in solid angle. As here we are a very small area considering delta omega. If you consider S here, just omega only will come, right? We have discussed about solid angle just before few minutes, right? Delta omega, like this we got. And next delta omega, delta phi is equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into delta omega. If you consider okay, integration on both sides, let's do. integration on both sides if you do, phi is equals to q by 4 pi epsilon naught, omega will come, phi is equals to q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 4 pi, omega is equals to 4 pi for a complete sphere, right? For a complete sphere, omega is equals to what? 4 pi. For a complete circle, maximum possible angle is 2 pi. Here maximum possible solid angle is 4 pi, that is omega equals to, here theta equals to, and here omega equals, right? Likewise, as we have discussed before, we are giving here as 4 pi. 4 pi and 4 pi will get cancelled. Phi is equals to q by epsilon naught we got. What is phi equals to actually? Flux. Flux is integral E bar dot ds bar, that is equals to q by epsilon naught, which is Gauss law. That's it. We have proved Gauss law by using Coulomb's law. This one is what? This one came from Coulomb's law, and from here we started and here we end. Here we have started with Coulomb's law and here we end up with Gauss law. That's it. This is all about today's class, and remaining things we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.